Yo, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be showing you how to one-shot every hunt with Straze. Except for Katie's, because I don't have Elfel, and I need to wait for that rerun to come back around so I can get her, because I am not gearing Furious with a bazillion speed. I'm not doing that. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. I'll put a Katie's video out when I get Elfel. I'll make it separate. I'm going to play all the one-shots at the beginning without me talking, and then straight after that, I'm going to put up a spreadsheet of all the sets you're going to need, all the characters you're going to need, all the artifacts you're going to need, and then after that, I'll show you what my characters have on them. You'll be able to see, and I'll give you a quick rundown. The speed, just get the speed as close as you can to mine. Let's just jump into it, because we'll get into the stats later on when we get to the character section. I hope you enjoy. Leave a like, because this took me like 7 million years to set up. Not actually, but yeah. Enjoy. Let's jump into it. Starting off with
granting additional enhancements. I will never bow my head.
This is what you get for ruining my vacation. It's too late to back out now.
Eternal rest for all.
I won't miss.
Unleash my power!
Did you really think that you could defeat us? Filthy creatures. It's time to tear them to pieces.
You'll regret facing me. How dare you! This way!
Focus.
All is done.
Destiny cannot escape my sword.
Over here.
It's my turn.
Raccoon, fly! Unleash my power! How dare you! Here it is! You'll regret facing me.
Eternal rest for all.
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for.
Unleash my power!
This is my justice. Dancing blade.
All is done. You'll regret facing me. How dare you!
Let's end this and see who falls.
Destiny cannot escape my sword.
yeah, that's all for one-shot teams with Straze. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, leave a like, maybe subscribe. It's up to you. We're about to get into the spreadsheet section now to see what sets you need, what characters you need, and what artifacts you need. If you're just here to see the one-shots, thank you for watching. So, thank you so much. It means the world to me that you watched those, because it took me so long to set up. But for those who actually want to see the stats and the stuff required, let's just jump right into it. As you see, I've made a simple chart of the units used in each hunt, the artifacts used on those units, and the sets used on those units. Do note that some artifacts, mainly the ones that have the brackets, aren't mandatory for the hunts, but they do make it a lot smoother. Feel free to pause the video and make sure you've got all the things required to one-shot these hunts. Okay, now you've taken a look at that, I'll show you the stats I have on all my characters. Hope you enjoy. The first team we're going to be looking at is W13. Starting off with the man of the hour, Straze. I thought I'd get him right at the way at the beginning because he is the centerpiece of every single one-shot team on this video. So yeah, I'll tell you the stat requirements. His stat requirements are he needs a tiny bit of speed and a bazillion damage. So I would recommend getting in between 127 to 132 speed if you want to use him in every single one-shot team. Otherwise, he can be lapped if he's a little bit slower. And I would also recommend having minimum 4,700 attack. And you could probably have like 340 crit damage to one-shot every hunt, but not much lower than that. I would also recommend having 100% crit rate because it's important. Do note that he has to be on rage set, otherwise the stat requirements go drastically up. And you may see that I'm on crit chance set here, but if you have a torrent set, I would highly recommend swapping it with torrent set as it downs the stat requirements. If you can get a Straze with 5k attack, 350 crit damage, first off, wow, that's impressive. Second off, you can basically one-shot every hunt with like mid-team because you do so much damage. Just keep that in mind. If you can get that, you will never need to touch Straze again. He can one-shot everything. For artifact, I'm using Daydream Joker as it's mandatory. And yeah. Next up is Ian. The stats you should be looking at is his HP, his speed, and his effectiveness. He needs to have enough HP to survive 3 shots from the Wyvern and potentially 2 shots from the ads. I would say 14k health would probably be ideal, as if the ads both land their poisons on him, he can still die if he gets attacked by literally everything, which is just unlucky. He needs to be the fastest on the team, so just make him fast. And he needs to have at least 65 effectiveness. And after you've got all those stats sorted and everything's up and running, just chuck the rest of it into damage, as it makes your SSB slightly easier to gear. I would also recommend using the artifact Song of Stars on him, as it creates consistency in your runs by adding an extra chance to get the target debuff on the Wyvern. Next up on the list is SSB. SSB stat requirements are probably the roughest on this team minus Straze. I will say that you can lower her stat requirements on attack a tiny bit because of Ian using his attack on the first wave also. So your stats can be a little bit lower than seen here, but she does need to be fast enough to go before the first wave of units and have 65 effectiveness, which is unlike most other one-shot teams with Seaside Bologna, because she needs to be able to land the target debuff consistently on the Wyvern to allow you to one-shot the hunt. So I would highly recommend 65 effectiveness. For artifact, I would highly recommend Rangar's Special Drink. It isn't necessary, but it massively decreases the stat requirements on your SSB. Matter of fact, if you don't have it, you'll probably need to have higher attack than I have right now. And for the exclusive equipment, I would recommend the second exclusive equipment, as it makes your S2 just do 10% more damage, which really helps the team. Last but not least in the W13 one-shot team is Watcher Schuri. Watcher Schuri's stat requirements are very similar to Straze in the way that he needs a tiny bit of speed and the rest can go into attack. One thing I will say though is that Watcher Schuri doesn't actually need to be on rage set. A crit damage set works just as well, if not a tiny bit worse. You can also use attack set on him, but I would say don't. Also for the 2-piece, if you have a spare set of Torrent laying around, that's good. Feel free to chuck it on him. It makes his stat requirements a tiny bit lower, and it's probably his best 2-piece you can chuck on him. As for his artifacts, use Daydream Joker as it's essential for the one-shot. And for his exclusive equipment, feel free to use any of them. They all do nothing for him. Just use it for their speed. Okay, now for the next hunt, Golem 13. Woo, it's the best hunt in the game. Just before I jump into my Golem 13 team, there's a few things I'd like to mention. One of them being that this hunt can actually be 3-manned by Straze, Vivian, and command model Laika. Sadly, I cannot. My team is just a tiny bit too weak, so I need the 4th person to bring in a dual attack to finish off the hunt. But it can be 3-manned, just have more attack than me, have more damage. If you have a 5k Straze, you'll be able to do this perfectly fine. But if you're like me and you can't, you'll bring in Sinful Angelica, or my second point, A-Ras. A-Ras also works perfectly fine in this hunt. I do think he's slightly worse because he doesn't have a good imprint for the team. aka Sinful Angelica has an attack imprint that gives the 2 side characters 10% attack. A-Ras only gives health. But apart from that, he works perfectly fine, and to be honest, he's a way more free to play friendly option. If you don't have Sinful Angelica, you can still make this team. I'll just quickly pull up my A-Ras now and I'll show you his stats, and then I'll quickly give you a sped up run of what he actually looks like in the hunt. It'll be really sped up, so just look at what he does. It's pretty much the exact same as Sinful Angelica, nothing's changed. But as you can see, my A-Ras has no ring, no artifact. There probably is an artifact you should put on him, but I just don't even bother. It doesn't really change anything. The only thing I would say is maybe give him more effectiveness if you're here. Put an effectiveness ring on him, get up to 65. But apart from that, this is what he looks like. Very, very easy to build. Okay, I'm just going to be straight up honest with you guys. I did not record the audio for the gameplay, I forgot. So I'm just going to play 7 Nation Army on my guitar, really scuffed for you guys. Please don't cry. Yeah, and the hunt's basically over already, so thank you, don't take handouts, okay? No money. I know you want to give me money for that, but no money. Okay, so now spared your ears from that suffering. We're going to start off with command model Laika. The main things you want to know about command model Laika is that she's going to be the fastest on the team, and she's going to want to have at least 65 effectiveness. Once you've got that done, I would say just chuck the rest into damage, and you're sweet. For the artifact, I'm rocking Song of Stars. I would highly recommend using this artifact as it gives consistency to your runs. And for the exclusive equipment, I'm rocking the 3rd one. It's also a speed exclusive equipment, which is very nice for getting her speed up. Next up is Vivian. Vivian is my least favorite character to build in this whole video. I hated building her, because not only did I have to deal with speed tuning, I had to deal with attack tuning. And you might be confused on what I mean by that. Well, Vivian works in 3 hunts. One of those hunts being Banshee 13. I made it so every character in this video is able to be used without having to swap a single piece of gear or artifact or exclusive equipment. The only thing that needs to be done in one of the hunts is you change an imprint, but I'll explain that later. So, Vivian's speed needs to be about 230 to 235, somewhere in there will work, for it to work in all 3 hunts. But her attack also needs to be tuned with Banshee 13. So the way that Banshee 13 works is, if the Banshee drops below a certain amount of health, it will enter a split phase. If the Banshee enters the split phase, the one-shot fails. So basically what I'm saying is, your Vivian will push it into split phase if it does too much damage, but your Vivian also needs to do enough damage to one-shot the first wave of Banshee 13 and Golem 13. Luckily for you guys, Vivian's S2 has a feature where if you kill an enemy with it, it will re-trigger a weaker version of itself again. Which means, because in Golem there is a B at the back, it has less HP, so you've actually only got to do enough damage to kill the B at the back, because then the S2 will re-trigger. Which is where the artifact Time Matter comes in. Time Matter basically just increases the damage of both the attacks. Luckily for us, the Banshee doesn't see the second attack because nothing dies, which makes this artifact really, really nice for her. For exclusive equipments, you need to rock the second one. It is mandatory in every hunt to rock that second one, plus it's the best one, let's be real. So rock the second one. If you don't have it, you need it. Yeah. Next up is Sinful Angelica. Do remember that you do not need to use Sinful Angelica in this hunt, as you can either replace her with A-Ras, or if you have good enough gear, you can use a 3-man that doesn't need her. These are the stats I have on her. The main thing you want to focus on is her speed. Just want to make sure it's around 188. For artifacts, I'm rocking Super Duper Water Gun Shooter for a buff to my team. That is not mandatory, but it is nice to have. And for artifacts, for exclusive equipments, my bad, I'm rocking the third one. It doesn't really matter that much, it just increases her effectiveness. And yeah, not much to say about her. Next. The last one in here is Straze. Look at the stats, if you want to hear me talk about him, go back. But yeah. Okay, so now we're moving on to the Banshee 13 team. Let's jump into it. There's only actually one character we haven't talked about already in this hunt, and that's Leo. Leo's stat requirements require him just to be around 240 to 245 speed, have 65 effectiveness, and then you can kind of tune his attack to help Vivian out without pushing the Banshee phase like I was talking about before. These are my Leo stats, just try and get them as close as possible if you want. Yeah. For artifact, I'm rocking Miss Confile. Do note, Miss Confile is a collab limited, so if you don't have it, feel free to use another artifact. Or no artifact, to be honest. It's completely up to you. One thing I will mention is Song of Stars I would not recommend on Leo, as it puts target on the boss, and if you land target and defense break, you will more than likely push the Banshee into the split phase because of the extra damage. So just be careful of that. The other characters in this hunt is Straze. Like I said before, go back here and hear me talk about him. These are the stats. And Vivian. Same Vivian as before. Nothing's changed. Boom. Okay, now moving on to the Azieeeee 13 team, which is actually the same team as in my last video because I already had a Straze one-shot set up for that team last video. So yeah, it'll be the same as last time. I'll get into it now. Okay, so this hunt is the only hunt with a 100% clear rate. It's impossible to lose as long as you make your team like this. The only new character we're using in this team is Vildrid. The rest of them we've all seen before. So, to put it simply, Vildrid needs 220 speed, so a bunch of speed, and then a bunch of damage. That's all he needs. Just focus on that. And for his artifact, I use his artifact, Sword of Summer Twilight. I would highly recommend using this artifact at plus 30. It's the best one I have used. It's the one I had the most success with. I know it's plus 30 and you might not have that. If you don't have that, there are substitutes and for Vildrid in general. So look those up. But these are what I use for this team. And for his exclusive equipment, I'm using the second one. Just plus 10% damage to his S3. Nice and easy, nice and simple. Okay. The nice thing about this Vildrid is to just switch it to speed imprint and then just use him as cleave. It works perfectly fine. So that's always nice to have a PvP/PvE unit. Next up is Straze. Same Straze as we use in all the other hunts, minus one thing. We swap his imprint to release imprint, as the main struggle with this hunt is getting the other characters' attack high enough. Straze attack is already high enough, so I would recommend using release imprint. That's the one imprint I would recommend swapping. It's the only thing you need to swap ever on any of these hunts. The rest of them are all unchanging. I would just say use release imprint just on this one hunt, unless your Vildrid can somehow one-shot the first wave by himself. Apart from that, we have Vivian, same Vivian, and we have Schuri, same Schuri as before. I would highly recommend just looking at the stats of all the characters. You can completely ignore everything I'm saying and just try and match my stats. But yeah, these are all the characters you need. I think there's only 9 characters overall, and yeah, 9 characters for all these hunts. Sounds pretty good to me. And yeah, that concludes the video. This character literally just dropped, like, right now. So we're going to be doing some pulls. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. We're doing 3 10 pulls. And yeah. This video took me quite a while to make. So I really hope that you guys do appreciate it. And if you actually make the Straze one-shot teams, congratulations. That's actually so awesome. I know how much of a struggle they are to set up. But yeah. Come on. The game knows. Oh, the game knew. I knew. I mean, what can I say? Now give me the artifact. That's not the artifact. Well, anyway, I got a 2 pulls. Well, 20 pulls technically. But yeah, have a great day, everyone. Peace. And I really quickly want to pop in here at the very end of this video to say thank you guys so much for last video. I did not expect it to get over 1,000 views and 19 subscribers. I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away. Thank you guys so much. Those teams took me so long to set up, and just getting that much support on the videos made me so happy. So thank you guys. Man. All my hard work paid off. Yeah, thank you. Leave a like. And I hope you guys, sincerely, the bottom of my heart, have an awesome rest of your life. Goodbye.